How did your first child behave after you'd had your second baby? My 3-year-old daughter Mia became obsessed with protecting her baby brother from invisible threats the moment we brought him home from the hospital. She'd stand guard by his crib for hours, whispering, "Go away," and leave him alone to empty corners of the nursery. When I asked what she was protecting him from, she'd just say, "The sad lady who cries at night and wants to take babies to heaven." I figured it was typical imaginary friend behavior, mixed with adjustment anxiety. New siblings can trigger all kinds of weird responses in toddlers. The pediatrician assured us it was completely normal. But then our baby monitor started picking up strange sounds that made my skin crawl. At first, it was just static and random crackling, then came soft sobbing around 2 a.m. every single night. The crying would go on for exactly 17 minutes before stopping abruptly, like someone had flipped a switch. I checked the nursery multiple times, but it was always just Mia standing protectively by her brother's crib, wide awake and alert. "She's here again," Mia would whisper when she saw me. "But don't worry, Mommy, I won't let her take him away like she took her own baby." My husband thought I was losing my mind from sleep deprivation and new mom anxiety, until the night our monitor picked up a woman's voice singing lullabies, clear as day. A soft, melancholy voice singing old songs neither of us had ever heard before. "Rock-a-bye, baby, in the treetop when the wind blows, your cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and Mama will catch you, cradle and all." But the melody was wrong, haunting and distorted, like a funeral dirge instead of a comforting lullaby. The voice cracked with grief on certain words. I grabbed my phone and recorded it, my hands shaking. The next morning, I played it back to my husband. His face went completely white. We were the only adults in the house that night, and I definitely wasn't singing. We started taking turns staying awake to monitor the nursery around the clock. That's when I witnessed something that still gives me chills and makes me question everything I thought I knew about the world. Mia was having a full conversation with the empty antique rocking chair in the corner, the same ornate wooden chair the previous homeowner had left behind, claiming it belonged in that room and wouldn't be right anywhere else. "He's not your baby anymore," Mia said firmly to the chair, her tiny voice surprisingly authoritative. "You have to stop trying to take him. He belongs with us now, not in heaven with you." She paused, listening intently to something I couldn't hear, tilting her head like she was concentrating. "I know you miss your baby so much it makes your heart hurt, but this one isn't yours to keep. You're scaring him with all that crying and sad singing." Another long pause. The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. "No, you absolutely cannot hold him. Mommy says only living family can hold babies. You're not living family anymore. You're the dead kind." My blood ran cold. I crept closer and saw the rocking chair moving slightly, as if someone was slowly getting up from it. The floorboards creaked under invisible weight. The next day, I called the previous owner, my voice shaking as I asked about the nursery's history. She broke down crying when I mentioned the rocking chair and the strange occurrences. "We should have told you about Margaret," she sobbed. "We thought maybe she'd moved on. She lived in that house for 50 years after her tragedy. Lost her only baby in that exact room back in 1973. Sudden infant death syndrome. She rocked him for hours in that chair before realizing he was gone. She never got over it, never remarried, never had other children, just sat in that chair every night, singing lullabies to a baby who wasn't there anymore. The neighbors said they could hear her crying and singing every single night until the very end. She died in that chair 3 years ago. We found her there still holding a faded baby blanket, still singing those old lullabies she remembered from 1973. The whole neighborhood heard her final song. That evening, I found an old black and white photograph slipped under the nursery door. A young woman in 1970s clothing holding a baby boy who looked exactly like my son. Same dark hair, same button nose, same peaceful sleeping expression. Mia found me staring at it, trembling and trying to process what was happening to our family. "Don't be scared, Mommy," she said, patting my arm with her tiny hand. "I told Margaret she could visit sometimes and watch over baby, but only when he's awake and happy, and only if she promises not to cry or sing sad songs. She just missed being a mommy so much." The crying stopped completely after that night, but sometimes when my son giggles at absolutely nothing, reaching his chubby little hands toward the empty rocking chair, Mia just nods knowingly. "She's watching over him," she whispers. "But she's not sad anymore. She remembers how to love babies the right way now." The rocking chair still moves on its own sometimes, but now it rocks gently and peacefully, like a grandmother watching over her grandchild with pure love instead of desperate longing. And every few nights I swear I can smell baby powder and hear the faintest whisper of a proper lullaby, soft, sweet, and protective.